This year, CMPD and the city of Charlotte really focused on solutions to reduce crime. Just last week, the department revealed a drop in overall crime.
But still, some neighbors say parts of the city just don't feel safe. Joining us this morning to talk about it is Mayor Pro Tem Dante Anderson. Mayor Pro Tem, thanks for joining us. I understand you were waiting for just a bit, and our apologies for that. Hope you can hear us now. If we can go over that first half of the year, the crime numbers came out last week, and I think to a lot of people, it painted, I'll say, a rosier picture than some people expected. Were you surprised by the numbers?
Well, good morning, Ben. And no, I was not surprised, but I was excited to see the numbers. So as you know, for the first half of 2025, violent crime was reduced by double digits, by 25%. And property crime was a reduction as well, around 5%. And so I wasn't surprised because I know that CMPD has been focused on a real data-driven strategic approach to reduce these numbers.
And Mayor Pro Tem, of course, you talk with your constituents. Do they feel like the numbers reflect their feelings? You know, you hear the numbers, the crime is down, but when you hear about a robbery or an assault or something in your neighborhood, do these reflect their feelings about crime in our city?
Well, perception is really reality, right? And so if you have a perception that crime is going on, and if one incident of crime or one gun violence act goes on, then to you personally, crime is up. Right. And so I think that's what we're experiencing, in particular, with the incidents that occurred uptown about a week or so ago, where we had a shooting in the early AM morning. So what we've seen, though, however, as CMPD has really worked that case and they've made a few arrests here, what we have is our juvenile youth, our individuals who are 25 years and under, who are really participating in these crimes. And we have one gentleman who is 16 years old who has been charged with the murder. And so we do have, Charlotte is not unlike all the rest of the cities throughout the country. We are suffering with this epidemic of gun violence, in particular by our youth.
You mentioned Uptown. I want to talk about Uptown for a second because it is an economic driver for the entire region. I mean, all neighborhoods matter, but Uptown, there's a psychological effect that goes on if people don't feel safe there, and that leads to economic, impacts if people don't feel safe going to Uptown. Walk us through sort of how, as a city, we address that.
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right? Our Uptown communities, all 4 wards, are really the picture of Charlotte. So when visitors come uptown, whether it's to enjoy a Broadway show or a sports event or to visit our museums, the streets, the character, the environment of Uptown really reflects the personality and character of Charlotte. And so the city has done a couple of things. As I mentioned with addressing the juvenile crime, there's a JADE unit within CMPD that has been laser focused on ensuring that our juvenile individuals, especially the repeat offenders, that CMPD is increasing their touch points with them. So they're doing home visits to make sure that these individuals have accountability with their parents. They're checking in with them and they're having follow up. So we're seeing some reduced numbers as it relates to that. But also for some of our partners, in particular Center City Partners, they have jump-started this program called Own Your Own Block. And so our business owners uptown have made a commitment for their personal security that they have at their individual businesses, that they would be more present right outside those businesses on the block, that they would adopt their individual blocks as it relates to litter and other things going on. And so as we do that incrementally, you're seeing a positive impact occur. So we're having Center City Partners, we have CMPD, and then we have our business owners uptown really come together to try to address this issue collectively.
And I think that's a very important part, as you mentioned. You know, the city can do its part, the police department, the organizations, the nonprofits, but we all play a part in this. So what do you say to those about being more proactive in keeping not only Uptown, but their neighborhood safe? Everybody has to be involved in this.
Absolutely. And I think as we think about just the environment that we're in right now, we know that anxieties are high. Everyone's on social media and they're hearing about various events and crime and everything going on. But we really got to go back to the basics of interacting with community. And the good police work is interacting with the community and the community residents. And then the community residents and everyone who is a part of that community participating in ensuring that their community is a safe place, that people are talking and communicating and making sure that if something is going on, they're saying something. They're saying something to their neighbor about what's going on in front of their building or their residents. They're saying something to CMPD. They're saying something to those business owners. So we have to collectively begin to communicate, keep our eyes open on what's going on, and making sure that we're applying pressure to those individuals who are doing nefarious activities, whether it's Uptown or in other parts of our city. That is the way that we have to address this collectively. We all have to play a part. No one can sit on the sidelines and Monday morning quarterback this thing. We all have to come together to be very active, proactive around this issue.
And some real talk just for a second. You know, it's our job to cover these things, but don't let that necessarily skew your vision of the city. We have to cover crime when it happens and highlight it and highlight trends, but sometimes you can get a slightly skewed vision of how bad crime is not here in the city of Charlotte. Mayor Pro Tem Dante Anderson. Mayor, we appreciate it. I know the longtime Charlotteans and the East Siders are going to appreciate your shout out to Eastland Mall over your right shoulder. Very nice touch. We appreciate it. And again, apologies for any delays. Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Thank you. Happy to join.
Thanks so much.